Moshe gives the instructions to the people on how to build the Mishkan, and the people overwhelmingly come and bring all their gold and linens and beautiful things, but the Torah says that the men followed the women. So in the Torah we learn that the women came first. It was the women who gave first, and then the men came next.
It has been said that the legacy of heroes is the memory of a great name and the inheritance of a great example. Today more than ever, women are leading our community in leaving a legacy of heroes, marked by generosity, philanthropy, and genuine human kindness.
Women have been involved in philanthropy for generations. We volunteer our time, we give our talent, and when we have it, we give our resources. So I think women have a unique contribution to make to philanthropy. And in particular, we have a lot of influence on future generations as mothers and grandmothers. And by setting an example, today, we are able to show the next generation what our values are and to pass those values on. And hopefully, the next generation will also become involved.
A lot of times in families, women are the heart and soul of the family, and they're the ones that transmit the values of Yiddishkeit, of Judaism, of the values that we treasure in our faith. So it's important that the woman's involved in that as well, in the philanthropy, and also in the Jewish Community Foundation and the Jewish Federation in general. And we've taken on wonderful leadership roles over the years, so I think our community has benefited from our involvement.
I'm so pleased that our community has finally allowed women to be in positions of leadership. We're finding some young women who are dynamite, and I think they're injecting a wonderful new aspect into our Jewish philanthropy and in our Jewish community.
As leaders in the community, women have so much to give. We always know if you want something to get done, you ask the busiest person because they will find a way to get it done. And as women, we have an incredible way to do 5, 6, 7, 8 things at a time. And if we include in that philanthropy and doing good, we not only are benefiting to the community, and the community gets all these great benefits, but our children learn so much, and they also learn to continue generation to generation.
The book of Proverbs reminds us of the qualities of a woman of valor. Her price is far above rubies. She stretcheth out her hand to the poor, yea, she reacheth forth her hands to the needy.
I started with my community work way back in the 60s. And in 1964 and 65, I was president of Hadassah. Then I started to work at the community center. I got involved with AJA. And I remember, I think the first gift I gave was $18, and I thought I was great.
And my mother-in-law said to me, Super Sunday's coming up next week. And it has to do with helping Jews locally and around the world. And they'll be making a call to you and to Mark. And she said, they're going to make a call to you as an individual woman, and it would really mean a lot to me if you would make a gift in your own name, because that's very important for us as women to do.
I would have to say that philanthropy is in my blood. Really, from the time I was born, I was always very aware about giving. I remember as a young child, putting coins in the pushka that my dad had on the shelf. That was always a big deal for me. Yeah, my parents were always giving, whether it was resources or time. And, for my mother, it was more in a quiet way. She might write checks personally to people that she knew needed help, or she would donate things to various organizations. With my father, it was more public with committees and chairing events. And, from that, I really watched and learned the importance of, doing good with your time and resources, how important that was.
I was always aware of Jewish philanthropy. My mother covered cards for many, many years for Allied Jewish Appeal. And when I was married, I decided I wanted to give something back to the community also, so I started covering cards.
Today more than ever, women have amazing opportunities to channel their desires to make the world better, to harness their energies to their passions for helping others in the community.
You have to find out what your passion is for helping other people, what form it's going to be, whether it's hands-on helping people, or you might be an administrative, organizational management type person in mind and be better off in that type of volunteerism. But find out what your passion is and follow it, and you end up getting so much in return.
Find something that excites you, and then talk to other women who are involved and see what it is that they're doing. And don't wait to be asked. Go seek out what it is that you'd like to accomplish.
What do I love to be involved? You can't imagine how appreciative the people that are here are when you do something for them. We've had luncheons, we've had parties. I come for Shabbos dinner, I work the line in getting out the food, serving the food, and whatever you do, everybody comes up to you and says, thank you, thank you.
What legacy do we want to leave? How do we want people to describe the life we led? The values we chose while we were here?
For me, I can't imagine a life without volunteering, whether it's time or resources, because I think it's important for all of us to recognize that, when our time is up and we leave, we can't take our cars and houses and clothes and all these other material things with us. All we really take with us are the good deeds we did and the mitzvahs that we did.
Look, we've been very fortunate in our life, monetarily and with our relationships in our family and in our Jewish faith, and we want to transmit that and we want to spread it around. We have an obligation to help those who have been less fortunate than us. So I think the legacy that's particularly important to me is that of transmitting those values to my daughters, and now that they're adults, seeing that they're starting to do that as well in their own lives.
Just that I was generous and I enjoyed giving and I enjoyed what I did physically with working at Dubin and Saltzman. Maybe people that I know or the younger ones will say, if she could do it, I can do it too. It may not be on my scale, but they can do it on a smaller scale.
I think the greatest legacy that I will be leaving to the community is our Jewish Community Campus. I was a co-chair for the Capital Campaign for 10 years. We raised $18 million and built this wonderful, wonderful campus. We see how it's being used more than we ever thought it would be used. And to me, this is one of the best things that I could have given to my community.
The Jewish Community Foundation provides the link, the tangible connection to the future that drives home the importance of Jewish philanthropy. Perpetual gifts through the foundation can assure the preservation of important services in the community for years to come.
The future of the Jewish community depends on us today. And what the Jewish Community Foundation does is create a strong base for the future. So by setting aside our dollars today, or through bequests or life insurance, for example, we are creating a fund that's going to support needs in the future.
We have annual campaigns every year for a variety of causes. However, the planned gifts are something that will ensure the future of our community, no matter what's happening from year to year with the economy.
One of the endowment funds that has been set up is to perpetuate the annual Seder for children and adults with disabilities, and to see them gather together for an event that they might not have been able to participate in. Some coming from group homes where they don't have a Jewish content, others coming from fairly traditional homes, others who are living out on their own, coming together for a Passover Seder. It's this type of program that permanent endowments get to fund forever.
The Seder at the JCC is important because not just for me, but all people who are disabled, because some of these children and young adults don't go to a real Seder. I go with my mom and dad every year, but it's helpful for people who don't know what a Seder is, and they get to learn about their heritage and stuff. And they might not understand it, but at least they're there.
For as many women as there are helping to lead philanthropy in our community, they have different thoughts and feelings driving their commitments to improving life for our neighbors. But ultimately, they are all planting a legacy for the future, preparing a better world for future generations yet unborn.
As you can see, I wear the Lion of Judah pin, which has the flame on it, which indicates that I have endowed my Lion of Judah gift. And my husband did something similarly for his annual campaign gift and set up what's called an ACE fund, an annual campaign endowment, so that when both of us are no longer here in this world, our philanthropy lives on through a gift in perpetuity to the annual campaign. And then I have to say, about 5 or 6 years after that, I was even happier that I had done this because I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And I didn't know at that point, was my breast cancer curable or not. And it's been 11 years already, and thank God I'm still here. It gave me a good feeling knowing that the dollars that would be perpetuated in the endowment fund through the annual campaign will live on long after Mark and I are here. And so it was really meaningful to me at that point that I had set up the endowment.
I think an important question is to always ask yourself, how do you want to be remembered? As someone who had so much or as someone who gave so much?